you made that last take pretty long. That was on you. Pretty sure 80% of the
I think I'm the most
talking in that is on you.
educated, intelligent football guy in the world right now.
Okay.
Well, there's zero doubt about that. After I'm sure he's seen video of himself knocked unconscious on the field doing the T-Rex arms. I mean, I'm not making fun of the guy. I mean, I don't know how you can ever mentally recover from it. He was going like this in the middle of the field. I thought he was dead, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I was like, he killed him. So I don't know how you ever come back from that. I don't think you can.
First and 5 from the motherfucking 6. From the motherfucking 6-yard line. 1st and 5.
Welcome to the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast, your hub for all things sports. Now, here are your hosts, Dylan and Turner.
What
So
about when you went to
basically
Tampa?
you're saying Jalen Hurts is the black Tom Brady.
Jalen Hurts is my boy.
Oh my God. All right. Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast. This is our 6th episode, and we have Big Dog here to start the podcast today. He's not going to join us in the middle.
No.
He's actually here to start the podcast because we have to start off with the debacle and the shit show that is the Dallas fucking Cowboys and Dak Prescott. And I want to start real quick with my rant.
Good.
First and 5 from the motherfucking 6. From the motherfucking 6-yard line. 1st and 5. Dak has played arguably his best game of his career.
No.
He's outstanding. No, he was out. Was he not outstanding yesterday until that?
He was pretty damn good.
He was pretty damn
Not
good.
of his career.
Takes them right down the field. They had no timeouts. They were on their own 13-yard line with no timeouts.
Two of those plays were penalties. Go ahead.
He's no CJ Stroud, but he had to get
Now
Thank you.
he takes them right down the fucking field, and they get down to the 6-yard line, and the motherfucker actually got saved. It would have been even worse. He checked to a quarterback draw with no timeouts left on the 6-yard line. Would have run the whole timeout. Ends up false starting. He gets sacked on the next play, and then instead of spiking it and getting 2 more plays, the dude ends up trying to do a fake spike, throws it out of the back of the end zone. Of course, the Cowboys come up short. I was screaming at the TV, I'm done with Dak Prescott. And it sucks because I wish we just got to the 50 and threw a Hail Mary. I would have felt better about it. But to get down to the 6-yard line, we watched the Eagles, Turner, you and me, watched the Eagles earlier this year in the same situation against the Commanders. Remember? They were down by a touchdown. The last play of the game, the Eagles defense was on their heels that drive. And they didn't even have, in that last possession, not a single pass was catchable in the end zone. So they had 1st and goal at the 6. And they had 4 shots at the end zone, and they did not have one ball go into the end zone that was catchable. It was either out of the end zone, a sack, or short of the end zone on every single throw. It's disgusting. I'm done with the Cowboys. They're 5-3. They should be 6-2 and tied for first place in the NFC East.
Part of that's not accurate whatsoever.
100% it's accurate.
No, number one. Number one, the penalties, the false start started this off. Secondly, it's 27 seconds left on the 6-yard line, I believe. How many were there? 27 seconds. I still say even though people would argue this, you might do a quick run or screen to Pollard on that start of that play. But anyway, 4 times in the end zone against the Eagles defense. The secondary is irrelevant at that point. It's a short field. It's 6 yards. It makes no difference. They're cramming the end zone. Number one is, if you think about it, if the throw to the tight end is a little outside, that play works. Number one.
Are you talking about the other drive when they threw it to Schoonmaker, the drive before that, when he caught it on the inch-yard line? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, my bad.
That was 3. That was a couple drives before.
You're right. My bad. So what I'm saying is, if you look at Dak at that point, he gets the sack. They have what 1 sack on that last possession?
Yeah, 1 sack.
1 sack.
It was the guy who gave it up to was Terrence Steele, who gave up 3 sacks in that game. Got burned by Hassan Riddick 4 or 5 times. That wasn't Dak's fault. The sack wasn't, but the whole situation was.
I think it's play calling. Number one, it is, because if you think about it.
He was checking the play at the line. He's checking every play. That's why we got to delay a game essentially twice.
That's what you got. Delay of game, sack, and now you're back at the 35-yard line?
It was like the 23.
23. And he passed it short to CD. But my point is that goes down to play calling. They're the worst team in the NFL and from the 10-yard line down in the red zone. the worst team in the NFL. The worst team.
Are they actually? Is that
Yeah.
just
No,
your
that's
take?
that's an actual stat.
Yeah,
That's an actual stat. Yeah.
So you're Jerry Jones. You got a power back option to go get Derrick Henry. Now, if you put Derrick in that same situation, they're going to respect that you could punch it in with him.
That's a good point.
And they're going to they're going to give you a little more leeway on the receivers. Number one. Number two, you go to your top receiver. All 3 passes to CeeDee Lamb. 3 passes to CeeDee Lamb. You toss it up. So basically, when you listen to Cowboys talk, listen to all the sports talk this morning, which I catch up on, listen to all of them. You listen to everybody. Dak should have thrown the ball 3 times to CeeDee Lamb. And as far as the false start, you're down in the Eagles, and that could happen to anybody.
But the false start saved them.
I agree.
Because when Dak, nobody blew a whistle or nobody heard a whistle. When Dak snapped the ball, he was clearly checking to a quarterback draw. He ran up the middle, and he was getting tackled. He was about to be tackled for a no-yard gain or a 1-yard loss, and the clock would have run. So, in fact, you even said it, the 6 versus the 11 right there, not that much different. The sack is what killed him. But the penalty actually saved Dak, because if he's tackled there, you basically get the next snap off around, 13 seconds or so in the NFL? So now you're rushing to hopefully get 2 more plays? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess you would just run up and spike it. My big deal is, and I always say this is, in that situation, you're better off throwing an interception than taking a sack.
Yes.
You really are. When you're back on a 10, you're going to get...
Agreed.
Because he took, a 10-yard sack or something like that. You just let the ball go. I mean, obviously, you're not trying to throw an interception, but you got to try to force it into somebody. You can't take a sack there. It's like Tua took the... Didn't he take a sack on that last drive?
He dropped the ball, and then
he just dropped the ball.
But
yeah.
he did fall on it.
He was terrified to get hit, is what happened there. But anyway, yeah, Dak, you just can't. The quarterback draw, I agree. I don't think it's a very good call. I guess even if he gets, no yards there, you probably spike it with 10 seconds left, and you still get 2 shots at the end zone. But I just think you take 4 shots at the end zone throwing the ball. I mean, I wouldn't run it at all, because the odds of you running a quarterback draw from the 6 and them just being in the right, pass rush to just somehow get right up the middle and score there is slim to none. And getting it to the 2-yard line doesn't even help you anyway, really.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just taking the sack was brutal there. In that situation, force the ball, throw it over everybody's head in the back of the end zone, whatever. You just cannot take a sack.
I mean, is it not the most Cowboy? That just baffles me. Is it not the most Cowboys?
I knew they were going to lose. When they got down there, they got the 50-yard PI. And you get that or whatever it was, right? Pass interference.
Yeah, on the 50-yard line. Then there was a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty.
Exactly. A crazy penalty there. And it's like you just knew when they got down there they were still not going to score.
See, I'm delusional and didn't think that. I thought for sure we were going to score. But is it not the most Cowboys thing ever to have the ball on your own 13-yard line with under a minute to go? No timeouts in the NFL. To get down to the 6 with 4 shots, and the fact that they didn't even have one ball that was catchable in the end zone, that is a Dallas Cowboys special right there. How do you not have a single? And here's my other issue with it, and this is why I do blame Dak. You can say it's the play calling or whatever. Dak was up there changing the play at the line on the first play.
He checked
Run
out.
the play that was called on first down. It's simple. You're making
his mistake was the first down audible.
Yeah, exactly. You're making it too complicated. Throw the ball to CeeDee Lamb. Turner said it. It's just not complicated whatsoever. Throw the ball to your best player. If he's not open, go to read 2, throw it away, reevaluate on second down. To take a sack, to get the penalty, just all Dak Prescott, and because he thinks he's fucking Peyton Manning out there. He's not. He's Dak fucking Prescott. He's a 4th or 5th round draft pick out of Mississippi State. That's who he is. That's who he'll always be. I don't care how much money you give him. I don't care what happens the rest of the way. He is a 5th round draft pick, worthless to this organization. Might as well go get fucking Jimmy Garoppolo at this point.
I think they should go get back. I think they should take Tony Romo back out of retirement.
I fucking would take him over Dak right now. I would. I would take him over
Your
Dak.
boy,
Tony's the
Tony.
worst. But I love my boy.
Just like Tony, Dak can't get out of his own way.
This is the thing, though. In that situation, this is what I look. If you look across the league, Dallas, under Jimmy Johnson, always believed in size in the red zone. Tight end size, but especially receiver size. Alvin Harper, Michael Irving. And so if you look at Cincinnati last night, watching them, and look at the size of Higgins, and you have to have the Chargers. Look at the size of their receivers. you have to draft or bring in one large 6'2" receiver for that kind of thing. CeeDee Lamb, I'd go to 2 times in that situation. But you need a guy that's really tall and big and goes up and just called throw the ball up and catch it. CD is finesse, and so Dallas is heading towards finesse. Dallas has always had physical receivers under Jimmy. So they don't have that anymore. They have finesse receivers, Austin Miles, all the people they brought in. Huh?
Miles Austin, but yes.
And Miles Austin. So they bring in all these guys, and they've had some finesse. Bob Hayes in the old days. But my point is
they
that
had Des Bryant for a while.
Yeah, Des Bryant's the perfect example. That's exactly.
Well, and we had those guys during Romo. We haven't had them since.
That's
Dak.
right. They're tending towards finesse. Tolbert's good, but he's finesse.
He's pretty big.
No, he's not big.
But he's tall.
But the bottom line is, if you look at the receivers, like the
Well,
Baltimore
Higgins
Ravens.
Isn't big. He's just, Baltimore Ravens don't have big receivers.
No, the big dude, the tight end, he's huge.
Yeah, Mark Andrews.
Oh, my God.
Well, okay, the tight end issue is another issue.
Yeah, we already know that.
I mean, the fact that the Cowboys.
Is looking pretty good.
I know.
Austin.
I know.
It's all ownership, if you think about it. It's all letting Schultz go. Number one.
It is.
Knowing that you need a tight end. Thinking you can draft one. That's Will McClay. That's in Jerry Jr.'s ears, and they're letting them run more of it now. We're fine on tight end. We're okay. We're great on running back. Let me explain one thing, too. Tony Pollard can't do 3 downs without wanting to be called out.
That's true.
2 downs, he wants to be called out.
He does.
Watch it. If you go to Cowboys Break and watch the Cowboys Network, you'll see Brian and them break it down. He wants out of the game out of 2 downs. You can't go like that, and yet you don't make any moves. So it really comes down to that organization. If Dak had a tall receiver, you toss that ball up in the end zone 4 times. They're going to double CD in that situation, which they did. They doubled him. So what are you going to do? That's my point.
Well,
down to Jerry.
You put in your boy Rico Dowdle.
Oh, God, Rico Dowdle, man. Just what a bum. What a bum.
Rico's not that bad.
He's pretty bad. Hold on, I want to say.
Mike says the analytics there, he's good in the red zone.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he does.
I'm sure that's exactly what he believes.
I'm sure that's the
and
analytics sheet that
there's
the
one
Mike
thing,
gets says it.
There's one thing I watched that nobody, maybe other guys do, is if you look at the eye and work, they were talking about this a little bit this morning on the Carton show, that if you look at the interaction, McCarthy actually said in postgame, because I listened to Total Post Radio, yeah, we had some communication issues down there at that point.
What, at the end of the game?
Yeah, he's looking at his sheet. He's trying to call the plays.
That's bullshit.
Communication. Well, he's saying they're having communication.
But you have to
what he's trying to say is Dak's audibling to other things.
Okay, that's exactly what he's saying.
That's what he's
because
saying.
There is no communication issue. The first play when we got down to the 11, it was off of a penalty, and there was an injury. Literally, Dak was over there on the sideline talking to McCarthy, and then they wouldn't have ran the play, and Dak checked the play. That's what he's trying. Of course, he's trying to say he Dak.
Yeah, but my point.
But hold on, let me say one more thing. I said this last time we talked about it. We were talking about 2 weeks ago. I think it was after they played San Francisco, and I was talking about how like McCarthy's and the coaching staff's lack of ability to coach the players.
They would run
double slants, and they'd be in the wrong depth. Here's the thing. You watched it last night on the touchdown that you talked about earlier, the touchdown that was called back for Schoonmaker. First of all, why is Schoonmaker in the game on 4th down and 2? But second of all, they showed the play, and I think actually Greg Olsen said something about it. They showed the play. It was kind of a rub route between the 2 tight ends, and he said, really, the problem is Ferguson needed to make the cornerback go over instead of under, and he allowed him to undercut it, and that's why it was short. And it's just little things like that. Every time you watch a big play or something or an interception or something, it's always a lack of coaching. So, yes, the GM is a big problem for sure. The fact that we let the tight end go, the fact that we drafted Maze Smith and he's done nothing all year. Horrible GM. We know Jerry's awful. But this is Mike McCarthy, too. It's ridiculous that every time I watch a big play, there's some coaching issue there. Every time.
This is Dak Prescott. Let me tell you why. Ryan Clark did a good piece this morning. He's breaking down those routes, and then when you look at it, and they did another breakdown last night, when you look at the breakdown of Dak's decisions on several of the plays that he didn't get in the end zone, we took a field goal, or in general, didn't get the play pass right, he's got wide open receivers. They're saying his second and third checks are wide open. So they're saying, if you want to look at it, there was one route that Ryan Clark broke down in the end zone. It was one of the passes Dak tried that literally the 2 players on top of each other, which is and then there's a third guy, he says, wide open to the right. Dak is missing those reads. He's happy feet. He has happy feet. He's slow. Burrow just calmly looks at him.
Well, you can't compare the two. No. He's not ever going to be Joe Burrow.
But my point is that I put that, if I'm passing the ball in that situation and I got a couple of reads, I'm putting that on Dak.
No, the end of the game is on Dak for sure. We know that. I'm just saying the inherent issue with the Cowboys is more than just that. That's part of it. It's a whole shit show over there. It's clear this experiment is over. The Cowboys really should just blow it up, which sucks because they're so talented. But
this is the problem. I'm done. Let's get on to something else real quick because you only had me for a limited time. Got that?
Yeah, very busy.
Very busy man. Very busy. Red Dog's got shit to do. This is the thing. If you think about it, it's
Red Dog. I thought it was Big
Dog, whatever the fuck.
This is
the thing. This is the thing. If you look at the organization, it's just simple. We want to run it. We're not football guys, but we're running it all in-house. So even if you're an opposing voice in that organization, you can say, Jerry will listen to an opposing voice, but the reality is when you had football gods, Jimmy Johnson, and guys that were smart in there, that's good. Bill Parcells, that's not going to work. I don't think a Bill can turn this around. I think the bottom line is it's just a cultural thing. And until they're sold to someone else, because I think Jerry Jr. probably will bring someone in. But if I'm Jerry, I'm 81 or 80, I'm spending the money now. I would have gone out and got a top receiver on the left side. And then they're saying the use of Brandon Cooks. How do you not change that? And McCarthy said in postgame, we run this extra, this red zone offense 100 times. We got it down. But you're the worst in the league. And you got it down. And the result of that is the owner not saying, okay, get something going on here. Figure it out.
I will say I am kind of confused. We'll move on from this like you said, but I am kind of confused with, Jerry being the age he is, that he isn't just knowing him and how he is, just spending all his money trying to win a Super Bowl before he dies. Because you got to think, if you're Jerry, you got to think, look, if you make it 10 more to 91, I know he probably thinks he's going to be 100. I get it, but I'm just saying. But I think it's kind of strange that he's not spending the money. One more thing that I'll get to where I saw a video of them drafting in the war room. And, there's
That's
a bunch
of
scouts in there, and Jerry's like, get so-and-so on the phone. His grandson is, at Arkansas where he plays. He's like, hey, what you think about so-and-so down there? He showed practice. He's a good kid. Oh, yes, granddaddy. He's a good boy. He shows up in practice. Like, let's draft him. And I'm like, oh, my God.
No, it's bad.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, but that's real. That's real.
No, it's 100% real. Yeah. It's not like, the scouting director said they liked him, and he's probably on the list or whatever, but he's like, oh, my grandson plays here. I'll just call him and ask. And it's like, if he would have been like, no, we don't want to take him, granddaddy. Like, okay, well, we won't take him because Tyler. Then walk on over.
The
Tyler
best
from Spartanburg
the best ever. The Musers in Dallas imitating Jerry and his son is the best thing to listen to you'll ever hear. Those guys are brilliant.
The fake Jerry Jones.
Yeah, the Musers in Dallas on the Unticket is the best bang for your money to listen to. They break it down. They are hilarious, imitating Jerry's son and what he does in draft day. Best thing you've ever heard.
I'll have to look it up.
Last thing, and then we'll move on. Last final thing. The Eagles, the one other thing I'll take away from this is, and my dad says the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl and going to win it. To me, yesterday proved that they are not. Not only was that game in Philly, right? The Eagles had 3 fumbles yesterday, all bounced straight into their hands. They recovered all 3 fumbles. There was a play where essentially their Cowboys are a millimeter away from scoring a touchdown. Dak steps out of bounds on the 2-point conversion, or they tie with a field goal. The defense, to me, for Philly is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Now, the only way that they have a chance, and I'll say the last thing, Philly has proven that it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. It doesn't matter how bad your secondary is. If you have a dominant defensive line and you have a dominant offensive line, you can win a lot of fucking football games in the NFL. Nothing else matters if you have those two things. They have a dominant offensive line. The more I watch him, Turner, the more I think they might be the best offensive line I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody have that much time back there like Jalen Hurts has. It's wild. I mean, he sits back there. No one touches him. If you watch him, he's not nervous to ever throw the ball when the pocket's collapsing because he knows he's not going to get touched.
Because he's an elite quarterback.
That's not what it is.
She's elite.
All right.
But real quick, what everyone ignored was how great Tom Brady was and how the line coaches and Bill Belichick's staff of offensive line coaches, no one brings this up, they all retired, and that's why he's losing. Tom Brady had the most time of anybody ever.
Yeah,
he had the best line, the best offensive line.
Well,
they literally didn't touch him.
So basically you're saying Jalen Hurts is the black Tom Brady.
Jalen Hurts is my boy.
Oh, my God.
All right.
I was hoping he would say yes to that.
If we had him on Dallas, we would have won in the red zone. That's all I can say.
Who played better yesterday, Dak or Jalen Hurts?
Dak.
Thank you. Turner, is that
But
true?
Dak blew the game.
Yeah.
Dak actually blew the game.
But Jalen Hurts is not even as good as Dak Prescott. If you flip the quarterbacks and
I
you put
trust
Jalen...
Jalen.
I agree with that.
Jalen. I trust
No,
Jalen
listen to
in
Turner.
the red
I
zone.
agree
Quiet.
that Dak is probably all the attributes of a better quarterback, sure, but if I need someone to win a game in the red zone, I think I'll just
100%. 100%.
100%. He finds a way
Yeah.
to win.
Because he uses his legs, and Dak won't.
he won't.
But throwing
Yeah.
the ball, Dak is a better thrower. All right,
All right,
we're going to
good.
move on.
And the Sunday games.
I'm moving it on. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
What?
I'm doing my take real quick.
No, let me move. What are you doing?
I'm doing my take.
No, we're doing Sunday
You
Standouts.
got
If
a
you
lot
wanna
of
do-
nerve to interrupt this guy in his during his fucking take.
We're going through this, and then you can do your take at the end when you're ready to go.
Well, let's roll.
No,
then.
quiet.
I
All right,
got
let's
shit
move
to
on.
do.
Second Sunday standout here. Let's go over to the Frankfurt battle where we had Andy Reid
And
the
let's go through
Chiefs
these quickly.
and
We will,
the
yeah.
Andy
Quickly.
Reid and the Chiefs. Well, you made that last take pretty long. That was on
know.
you. Pretty sure 80% of the
I think I'm the
talking in
most
that is on you.
educated, intelligent football guy in the world right now.
Okay.
Well, there's zero doubt about that.
The Dolphins are now 0-3 against teams with a 500 record or better. We've been hitting this on the head for weeks. We've been saying the Dolphins are a gimmick offense. They can't play against good defense. They can't play against good
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
Turner, how bad was
start
Tua?
us off
How
here.
bad was Tua yesterday?
Tua is, guys, and the fact that he's the odds-on favorite or what it was to win MVP is just, I get that offense, and Dylan's touched on it before, great against bad defenses. The gimmicky bullshit works against bad defenses. In the play, they will not win a playoff game. There's a 0% chance the Dolphins win a playoff game. Tua is terrified
Awful.
of getting hit.
Yeah.
He's absolutely terrified.
Yep.
When they brought blitzes, those 3 plays in a row, if he would have held on to the ball for a half a second longer, he had what's his name?
It was Cedric Wilson
It was
and
Cedric Wilson. Wide open, running past the guy for a touchdown. And after the game, Michael Irving, someone else were talking in the studio, and they're like, "That ball slipped out of his hands." And go, "No, it didn't.
No, it
He
didn't.
just floated it out there so he wouldn't get hit. It did not
Absolutely.
slip out of his hands."
Absolutely.
And then on 4th down, he was so scared of getting hit in the mouth, he just dropped the snap. They go, "That's a bad snap." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. It was maybe here instead of here." He dropped it, and he had a guy. I don't know if it was Tyreek Hill or who was going to be wide open in the middle field. Any other quarterback that's willing to just stand in there and take one in the mouth is throwing a touchdown pass there. Tua, and rightfully so, will never be the same after I'm sure he's seen video of himself knocked unconscious on the field doing the T-Rex arms. I mean, I'm not making fun of the guy. I mean, I don't know how you can ever mentally recover from it. He was going like this in the middle of the field. I thought he was dead. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I was like, he killed him. So I don't know how you ever come back from that. I don't think you can.
he went full Chris Broussard on himself in that
Yeah.
moment.
Let's say it this way. He isn't an NFL quarterback, and if you watch him, and I said it since he came in, like, he's not an NFL quarterback. His gimmick is simple. If the ball's out in 2 or 3 seconds and the route's run and he can bullet it in, he's fine. If there's anything that goes wrong, it's over. He can't throw the ball, and Tyreek is crazy to say that guy's accurate. Everything he throws with any speed or pressure on it is probably, I said, Tim Tebow's probably better. Tim Tebow's a better thrower because he's bigger and more physical standing in the pocket than this kid. He is a joke. He'll be out of the league in 3 years or a backup. There's no way. In fact, I think Mike McDaniel, I'll get off on that. I think he's overrated. I think you give any kind of game with him where it's not a typical 2-second release, he's done. The guy is not an NFL quarterback, and this isn't new from this game. I said it when he was MVP all the 7 games, and he looked good. He did look good on some of these games. I'm just saying, when you break it down, he is not accurate. He is not good.
Well, I'll say this. First of all, I really like Mike McDaniel as a play caller. I don't know that he's a head coach because he's over
Not
there.
a head
like,
coach.
We were talking about it yesterday. It looks like
All right.
he's a kid in a candy shop over there looking at his little play sheet like he's playing fucking Madden on the sidelines. Like, he doesn't look like he's actually in reality like coaching a team. He's just calling plays like a video game.
But there were a couple of plays, if you think about it. There were some missed catches and some penalties. And
No.
if they do a couple of those catches, the game's tighter.
What I'm saying is this.
So that's
I
the
think he's a
argument.
really good play caller.
Yeah, he is.
And here's the other thing. I think I disagree when you're saying you don't like Mike McDaniel. I actually do like him.
I like him.
No. Listen, let me talk. I think that Tua, if he didn't get McDaniel, I think he'd be out of the league probably
Oh,
by
he's
now.
done.
I mean, literally the last 2 years, before last year started with McDaniel's offense, people were ready to they were shitting on him
No, I
daily
agree.
and saying, how could you have passed on Justin Herbert and taken Tua? And McDaniel's has literally single-handedly launched Tua into the MVP conversation. Now, I don't think Mike McDaniel's offense, I've said this, we've all been on the same page. None of us think Tua's very good. We've been saying it for 2 years. Everybody jumps on the train. We weren't. We were the ones who said Tua's not for real.
Horrible.
And we've been saying, me and Turner on the podcast last week and the week before said, this is a gimmick offense. You play a good, strong defensive front. They look bad. What do the Chiefs have? A good, strong defensive front. What do they look like? Bad. But Turner's take was perfect. He said everything I could have said exactly right. Tua's afraid to get hit. He's inaccurate under pressure. They talked about, I listened to a podcast that breaks down analytics. They said he literally is the worst, number 36. There's 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. He is number 36 in QBR when pressured.
Oh, I'm sure.
36. That means there are 4 backup quarterbacks that are better than him when pressured. Tyler Badgett is better than him under pressure. It's like you said, that was not a ball that slipped out of his hands. And you know why I know it wasn't also? Tua admitted it. I listened to his press conference. He said, it was a miscommunication. No, it wasn't. He literally, like you said, chunked the ball because he was terrified to get hit. I think we're all on the same page. That's the take. Tua's not good.
Imagine that team with Justin Herbert.
That's what I said last week.
Well,
I said the same thing. Could
but
you
here-
imagine it?
Jesus.
But
They
here's
need to
the-
go make a move for somebody like that.
Here's the thing. I think the owner fed that to Mike, and he's done well with Tua. I'll give him that. I don't hate Mike McDaniels. I think he's got some good qualities. I just don't think he's a real head coach. If that team
He's
has
not.
any adversity, I think the guys will turn on him. It can be a physical presence of a coach. It can be the way that he they look at him. I can guarantee you when they're at dinner with themselves, smart guy they'll say about their own coach, but they won't go to war with that guy. He just doesn't. You don't get behind a guy like that.
He had a good one-liner going into his press conference in Germany. He
I
showed
saw
up
that.
in there. He's like, I know what you're thinking. I look much bigger in person. He went to the mic, and nobody laughed. It's like, oh, tough crowd.
I actually like him, and he's actually
No, he's got a
he's
good
in recovery, from alcohol and drugs.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I like
he's
that.
a good dude. I like him. I'm rooting for him.
All right,
we'll move on.
Let's roll it.
Let's move on to the next Sunday standout.
Let me just do them all.
Let's move on to the next Sunday standout. Bengals are, we said this again 2 weeks ago. We said it might be an overreaction, but we're going to go with it. Bengals are 100% back. Burrow's healthy, and the Bengals have won 4 straight. They're now tied for second, I believe. Now, that division in the AFC, everybody's, I think, 5-3 or better. The Browns, the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Ravens. That's the best division in football right now. Although I think we all agree the Steelers are frauds. But quickly, I was getting ready last night to blame, as the Bills lost, they're in trouble. I was getting ready to blame the Bills defense. And then I looked at it, and I didn't realize that the Bills only gave up 3 points in the second half defensively.
That's right.
The difference in the game was that the offense for Buffalo had 2 key turnovers. Dalton Kincaid fumbled in the third quarter, and Josh Allen threw an interception. So I have been blaming Sean McDermott for a long time, but the truth is that offense has not looked the same. Now, call it what it may be. It could be Sean McDermott has his, and I've said this, him and Dayball used to butt heads because McDermott would tell him to call certain plays, and he didn't like that, and that's certainly probably happening now. But if you look at it last night, the splits, they ran the ball pretty better than the Bengals, significantly better than the Bengals. The issue is they have not been able to move the ball consistently. Josh Allen has not looked the same in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what happened. I thought it was defensive injuries, but I'm really starting to worry about this Buffalo team. And I said one last thing, and I'll let y'all debate real quick. I said this last week. What's the difference between the Bills and the Raiders? There's not much difference other than the quarterback. There isn't. So you take away Josh Allen playing well, and it's not a surprise this team is struggling to me. Turner or Dad?
I think that I thought about that coming to do this today. I think this. I'm going to make mine really short. Cincinnati's back. He's back. He's playing good. They look good. I like their tall receivers. I'm a fan. Alvin Harper days, Michael Irvin, tall receivers. But I'm not sold on them going to the AFC Championship game. I'm just not sold on them yet. There's something bland about them. And like you said, the Bill last night, a lot of that was the Bills and Josh Allen. That's all I can say. So I'm not sold on the Bengals yet right now at all.
Okay.
The Bengals have won 4 in a row.
4 in a row.
Best team in the AFC in I've just cursed them, so they'll lose next week. Any team I've called the best in the NFC or AFC is lost.
You said about the 49ers, they lost three straight. Yeah, same thing.
Expect the Bengals.
I don't
I think we said it. We both said it about the Bills too. They lost three out of 4.
Yeah, the spin zone with the Bills, and real quick, move on. Is that, like you say, maybe McDermott's right to put a little bit of a leash on the offense, just in a sense that he knows that Josh Allen, who I love, but is a gunslinger by trade and just wants to whip the ball all over the field, and he's not scared to throw interceptions. I mean, that's the only way they could have that's the only way they lost that Jets game to start the season. I mean, they lose Rodgers. They're up, 14 points or something like that? And, Josh Allen threw, 2 or 3 of the worst picks I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I like the guy a lot, especially how he can run, but he does have bad turnovers, and Burrow right now is not doing that at all, and that team is playing really well. I mean, I just, right now, and, the constant overreaction like we do week by week in the NFL, but it's hard to see, really the Browns and, the Bengals and Chiefs not meeting in the AFC Championship,
Yeah, I think, well, let me say one thing about what you said. That if you think about it, Cincinnati Bengals are probably, I don't know that they can, I know they beat the Chiefs, but I don't know about the Ravens. The Ravens are really physical. I think he would have a hard time with them, number one. He hasn't had a lot of pressure on him, but he is back. I do think he's back.
Right, the Ravens are regular season juggernauts. They always blow it in the playoffs.
And I actually thought about what I was thinking because I've got multiple. I got things going on. I got deals cut today. I got 5 things going on at the studio and songs being produced right now. Things are happening. Money coming in while I'm just sitting here. Let's say it this way about Josh Allen, real quick. I think that this team's going to get blown up. Diggs is going to want to be traded. He's gone. Guarantee you, he was going to want out of Buffalo. So, and the question now is McDermott. I've said all along since Nathan Peterman, whatever the hell that guy was, this guy is not getting you to a Super Bowl.
Nathan Peterman must have been fucking
No, I'm saying
Nathan Peterman must have been fucking awesome.
He kept him in. He kept playing him. No, I think
he's got to be a practice squad MVP, dude.
He's got to be.
This coach is
Some people are like that. There was a kid in high school I played with. I won't mention his name on the podcast, but in practice, the dude would shoot from the fucking volleyball lines and knock shit down like it was nobody's business. You put him in the game and he'd shit his pants. So that does happen.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Buffalo's going to have, if I was the owner of Buffalo, new stadium coming on, you got to keep Josh Allen franchise, of course. Diggs is going to want to get out. I would get another coach. I would go bring in another coach.
I think that they messed up. Two things. I thought maybe they messed up not hiring Daboll when they could have, but I'll say one thing before we move on to the last standout, and that's I watched the Giants yesterday, and it is so fucking funny. I couldn't stop laughing. The Giants were down 30-6 with 9 minutes to go in the game, and series after series, Brian Daboll is trotting Saquon Barkley back out on the fucking field, down by 24 points. He's trotting his best running back out on the field who has injury problems. Your season's over. You're 1-7 or whatever you are. Just play for next year and tank. Why are you trotting him out there at all? He's going to get paid. Let him get paid and be happy. I know he wants to go out there, and I get all that bullshit. Danny Dimes tore his ACL, I'm pretty sure, yesterday.
No, he did. Yeah, they announced it.
So that guy can't catch a break. But now you got Tyrod Taylor on the IR. You got Danny Dimes done for the season. So you're starting fucking Tommy DeVito. Tank. And now what's interesting is they're going to probably have one of the top 2 draft picks, and They likely will trade it because they're not going to take a quarterback because they committed to Danny Dimes.
No, I think they will. I think they'll take a quarterback.
I don't know. They just paid Danny Dimes too much money to do it. But we'll move on.
Last
NFL Sunday standout. We got it's CJ Stroud's world, and we're all just living in it, right?
Let's make this one short.
30 for 42. We can make it as short as you want.
Moment.
30 for 42, 470 yards. Rookie record.
All-time record,
5 touchdowns. All-time rookie record for yards in the game. Got the ball back with 46 seconds. Didn't even need all 46. Let him down the field in 37 and scored a touchdown to win the game and defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 39-37.
Real quick, Stroud was awesome. Like you said, he hadn't played great the last 2 games, so that second half was fantastic. But want to spend 30 seconds talking about Todd Bowles, and he took the dumbest timeout in the entire world. I forget exactly what the situation was, but they completed a pass, and they reviewed it. And so instead of taking a runoff of 10 seconds, what he should have done, it would have taken the clock from 54 seconds to 44. You still all the time you need to score a touchdown, and all you need is a field goal to tie down there. So he hammers the timeout, doesn't take the run off.
I agree.
They score. So that left the Texans the
what did they score
12?
with 8 seconds left?
Yeah. So it was just like one of those deals where it's like, why are these coaches taking timeouts when the ultimate goal is to score with no time left to tie the game? Plus, the Texans didn't have their field goal kicker either, so they're like,
exactly.
If you do go to overtime, you're at a big advantage without them having a kicker. But anyway,
and
C.J. Stroud played great.
Greg Olsen was saying that same thing yesterday about the Cowboys on the drive before, the second to last drive. He was like, I don't understand why Dallas is taking so much time here. It was like, dude, they're trying to make this the last drive of the game. We want this to be the last drive. Why would we want to give the ball? It was the one, but the Cowboys had all 3 timeouts, so they ended up not getting it, and because they had the timeouts, they were able to get the ball back. But before that, you wanted that to be the final drive of the game, and you either score or you don't score. Because if you go get a touchdown, then you have to get a 2-point conversion just to be up 3, and there's almost a 90% chance with that offense they're getting a field goal.
It was the same thing with the Dolphins game. Everybody was freaking out with them taking so much time, and it was like, this is going to be the last drive, so it doesn't really matter.
Why? I don't understand why everybody doesn't understand. Like, you don't, in the NFL, to get a field goal in 40 seconds is pretty easy.
Especially Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, I mean, you just don't want to do it. Anything on C.J. Stroud? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, he is good. I admit he is good. A little short for me to be a stud. But Dak was 13-2 or 13-3 against and came back on the Green Bay Packers rookie year. I mean, come on. You're prisoners of the moment. Dak looked like like a major star his first year. And when he had DeMarco Murray.
He won Rookie of the Year.
Unbelievable. He looked like, my God, this guy's going to be amazing. So
yeah, but he didn't have numbers like that. He never threw for 400 yards. He just had really good games and was efficient, didn't turn the ball over, and threw a lot of touchdowns. He wasn't throwing for 400 yards.
Yeah, and the guy's got a great arm.
Dak also had a better team around him, right? He was taking over a team that Romo had led to the playoffs a couple times, whereas Stroud's taking over a team that nobody thought had any receivers, nobody thought was going to win any games, and they're 4-4 now, is that right? 5-4?
But you got 2 of the dumbest damn coaches on that game. Todd Bowles is an idiot. Nice guy.
He's
dumbest
I was going to say he's the worst coach in the NFL, but Arthur Smith is. He's second.
Okay, there you go. He's horrible. That guy's horrible.
Arthur Smith lost his team the game yesterday.
He should have never been hired.
4th and 7. And
he's an idiot.
Dobbs run around.
Unreal.
Knows 4 plays.
Had him sacked.
But here we go. Yeah. But Houston's coach as well. I am not sold on this guy.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Good. I'm glad you're saying that because
talking about D'Amico. D'Amico's a good coach.
I don't like him. So I'm against. So far, I'm not gonna. My verdict's still out. Just something about
Think about how much better they are.
No, I agree. I just something about it. It's my personal.
And obviously, they were young anyway, and they're getting better in C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have Davis Mills, so there's a lot of different factors, not just a coach. But I think he'll turn the defense around.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I just think he's more of a defensive coordinator. All right. Go ahead.
Do you have a rant at all for the NFL,
No,
or do you want us to move over to the college?
No, the only rant for the NFL is the game situation. My rant on that is I don't get the 3 games at night. They were saying this morning on listening to all the sports talk.
3 games in the afternoon.
3 games in the afternoon. How great it was this weekend and fantastic. I was sitting there. We have, you got to see our TV room. We got every game on, and I'm looking Vegas. It's better than Vegas. Bigger than Vegas. That was a couple of days of work. Anyway, I just wasn't blown away by the games. They're, oh my God, it's great this way. It's so incredible. I wasn't. And so my point is that the 3 games at night with one feature, or at late afternoon, my bad, one featured really game just is weird to me. And Thursday Night Football, man, that's got to go. I'm sorry.
You want to get rid of Thursday Night Football? What are you?
Well, flex.
Communist?
No, flex it. I mean, they're just the games sometimes. They're just so bad.
But you can't flex. The Thursday ones you can't flex.
Yeah, that's true. So my point is that Thursday Night Football is really bad. And by the way, that crew they have on Thursday Night Football and the halftime crew with the blonde girl that doesn't know shit about football. It was in ESPN, took over from Beetle. She's a joke. And then the rest, and no more female reporters. I don't want to see any female reporters
on. You can put her on anything, anytime.
Yeah.
You cannot put any more female reporters talking football. It is embarrassing on the sideline. I'm sorry. I get them off. Good, the freaking program.
This show's gonna gained traction with all your
Yeah.
sexist comments.
Well, I will say this. I
Get them
tweeted
off
out.
the damn air.
I did tweet
No
it.
one wants to hear a girl breaking down a football team. Go
He's
ahead.
allowed to say it because he's in his 60s, guys.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't look it.
Well,
I know he
I'm
looks
in my-
35, but he's allowed to say it.
I'm in my 30s and I'll say it because I do think it's bullshit as well. I was watching ESPN such. They're fucking
They're
awful.
horrible.
They're horrible. They're
They're
done.
horrible.
And I hope that they go under. I was watching. For some reason, I'm a degenerate and watching the NBA the other day. But the ESPN pregame show has become such a shit show.
Oh.
Look at the people on the show. It's Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, and two women who I don't know their
my
names and I never
God.
will. It is the most. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be any way offensive, but. It's the most politically correct show I've ever seen. It's 4 minorities and 2 women, and
I agree.
and it's just like, okay, that's fine, but it's just ESPN has gone overboard on catering
Overboard.
to that
You're
because they want to
feeding
be woke
something
and all
pe-
of these things. It's the truth, and
You're
I'm not going to get political. I'm independent. I don't care about political parties. I think they're stupid, but it is ridiculous that they're over catering to this notion that we have to put minorities and women on the air more than anybody else now. It's like, just put the best person for the job on the air.
You guys make me sick. Let me tell you something. If these two had it their way, there'd be 4 Hubie Browns sitting around,
right.
sitting around talking shop. Disgusting.
Yes.
All right. Oh, you know what we may need to add to the segment every week when you're
What?
here is just talk about what is going on in the life of Chris Lieck and what are you doing? What's the latest with your car? With your cars, I heard that you're thinking about trading in the Challenger.
No.
No,
That's what you
okay.
said.
Or
I
in
have
the
2
Hummer.
Challengers. Don't
Okay.
white
get
one.
it. Be
All right.
accurate when you're describing my
Okay,
cars.
okay.
2 Challengers.
Okay, 2
How many
Challengers,
How many cars do you have, Padrino?
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Well, which one is it? You should know, right?
I'm not trading any of them in.
But how many?
I thought you were getting a truck.
No, actually, I said I might get a truck and sell a couple of them, but I'm gonna keep the Hummer for now. The other Challenger.
You know what I could see you in?
And
as
then the Trans Ams.
a cyber truck, one of Musk's new.
No, I
cyber
can't do
trucks.
it. I can't do it yet.
It was hilarious. Joe Rogan shot a bow into it the other day. They were doing a podcast together,
Yeah.
and Elon goes, "Go ahead, and shoot a fucking arrow into it, dude." I guess he's made some progress since his initial. Remember he threw that rock at it.
Yeah,
You
I
remember
know.
the initial,
Yeah.
and it broke the window. He goes,
Oh,
"I guess you're gonna
yeah.
have to work on that." He shot a freaking bow into the side of this thing, dude, and it barely even. There's a tiny little mark, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that thing's a
Is it
tank."
titanium or something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a
Well,
tank.
well, the thing about it is what they don't understand, like the new Riken, is it called, or the Rivian?
Yeah.
If you get in a bumper wreck in the car, it's $40,000 to the
really?
front end.
Because it's
Jesus
all-
Yeah, so
Christ.
like you can't. They don't have it down yet. But my point is, yeah, I'm not trading any of the cars or selling them. I'm not going to add any right now. But in the life of Chris Lieck, it's multifaceted. We got the cars running. We got the cars we got to maintain every day. Got the studio, music, writing, producing. I got my own record coming out. We're going to save a whole. Hold
shit.
on.
Yeah.
We're going to save an entire 6 series on that.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
at least.
I want
And-
to, while we're talking a little bit off sports, I'm going to give one shout out to my boys at Zito's over there because they've all been supporting the podcast. They all tell me that they watch. So Brad, the owner of Zito's, if you're in San Antonio and you want the best sandwich in the world, it's not even fucking close. Zito's Serious Sandwich is the best sandwich in the world. Go to Zito's on Broadway or Babcock. There's 2 locations now. But Brad is the man. He's awesome, and he owns both of them. And my favorite, I eat there 5 times a week. Also,
That's
the
not
guys.
it's not even a paid ad. It is the best sandwich, but Dylan is trying to get himself a free bowl of beans. Brad, so.
No, Brad always hooks me up with every day with the large drink. But
Okay.
but
Wow.
Jay behind there always makes my sandwich. He's a big Cowboys fan as well, and he loves the podcast. He said he watched it and liked it. So shout out to those guys. My favorite place, and they're all really good dudes over there.
All right, real quick. I gotta go make money.
We're gonna do our Longhorns rant.
Well, that's it. I'm just gonna do my Longhorns.
Okay,
rant.
well,
I
let's
gotta
do.
roll-
Hold on. Let's move
Hold
to the.
on.
What? Let's move to the
Time is of essence.
Let's
right
move
here.
to the. Hold on. Let's move.
Shimako.
Shamako's will be
Shout out
there.
Shimako. My
Shimako,
favorite
the
artist.
white cone, the white is can be white. 45-year-old air conditioning owning
mogul.
as what's his name?
Mogul.
Philip Seymour.
Hoffman. Rest in peace.
Then 45-year-old AC owning motherfucking hip-hop Latino rapper. He's not Latino, but he thinks he is. Likes Latino women.
He identifies as Latino. That's fine. You can do that.
In today's world, you can be whatever you want.
And my boy, Shamako, is coming in today to lay down. He said, I got to say the name of the song, so you can probably bleep this. But the name of this new song,
I'm not
the
bleeping
chorus
shit.
is Sublime Dick. In Spanish, though.
Oh, shit.
La Pinky something, okay?
La
So
Pinky.
we were going to
What
go
was
with
the
their
other one called? That was really the pinky one?
Pinocheria.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to say that one.
What does it mean?
I'm assuming the P word is in it.
Yeah. It's a Mexican restaurant that he named a certain name. So
The
we're not
guy,
gonna
the
go
guy.
there.
I'm not gonna. Never
All right,
mind.
we're going to. But anyway, real quick.
Anybody naming songs that has, needs to reevaluate themselves. I think.
So real quick, I'm going to make my rant real quick on UT, and it's really simple.
Well, let me just set this up real quick and say that the Longhorns took on Kansas State,
Yes,
right? And
we
they
know that.
ended up winning the game in overtime.
Yes.
By 3. Now, before you shit on the Longhorns,
I'm not gonna be long.
and you can shit on them, but look, listen. Before you shit on them, I got to give Sark credit in the sense of his game plan. Even though he's an idiot, and the reason that they blew the game was Sark's fault, but he outcoached Chris Kleiman in terms of the game plan. Kansas State was a top 5 rushing team in the country. He got them to literally abandon the run. It was 28 rushes for 43 yards,
That's
and they
not just
stopped
Sark,
running it.
though.
Hold on. They stopped running it. And Avery Johnson, that everybody said was going to have a big, he's the freshman quarterback who has rushed and had all these stats. They said they put him in for one series and pulled him at the end. And then you can also go to the offensive side of the ball. They absolutely torched Kansas State in the first 2 quarters, and then his mismanagement of the game is what let them get back into it. And he was horrific throughout the game. Malik Murphy was horrific in the second half, but you have to give him some credit in the sense that we did have a backup quarterback. We were playing a pretty good team, and he always does that. He has a great game plan. He just can't adjust. Go ahead. They ended up winning.
We're going to let you go off on
let's
that,
just
but I will say,
let Turner go real quick.
I almost had the most perfect prediction of all time in that game last week. Dylan said Texas would win. I'd say Texas should win, but it'll be an epic Texas collapse, which it was, but they got out of there with a field goal win. Kansas State decided to go for it on 4th and 4 in overtime, which was a wild decision.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing on that when you're done.
With all the momentum. But I was happy to see Texas win. I wanted them to win. I think it's good for football when Texas
it's good
is good
for college football.
So
100%.
Yeah, I was happy to see them win. But yeah, it was almost a collapse. It was 27-7.
27-7. It was the last play of the third quarter. Going into the fourth, they were up 20.
Yeah.
This is the thing. I'm not going to go too off on it because it's simple. It isn't just that he coaches it. It's the decisions. The only reason they came back in were the 4th down calls he makes. Doesn't kick a field goal. Just for spirit purposes for the team. And second thing, these are my quick takes on them. I've never seen the receivers of Texas, even when Ewers is throwing the ball horrible, I've never seen them act like that. Their body language was incredible. I don't just watch games. I watch like them going to the sideline. I watch things that like weird body language, everything. They were literally like, oh my God.
Well, it was mainly just Xavier Worthy. I do agree with you, but Xavier
There was
Worthy.
2 of them that did it. But
number one, he was
freaking
out.
Yeah, he was freaking out. Number one, because he knows it already in practice. That's the stems from he knowing it in practice. He probably already experienced some of these bad throws in practice. It wasn't just in the game he started thinking it.
God, it was bad.
This is the thing. They knew probably something, those players, that this guy shouldn't be in there. But it's a collapse by that quarterback. But here's the thing. No matter what, you look at just the motion of him throwing, just the way that he throws. And Sark knows his dad picked him in high school, recruited him. They have a relationship. There's no way he was going away from that. And even when he's so bad in that the second half, starting to get really bad, and you could see the fear in his eyes, and Sark knew it, he did nothing. He didn't change it. He kept throwing the ball and doing the same thing, putting the guy in a bad position. So this is all on Sark. The quarterback's no good, but it's all on Sark. He needs to transfer. The quarterback needs to transfer. And I don't know. I'm not watching practice, so I don't know what Archie Manning's son's like. I don't know. I can't say. I'm sure that this is a political thing. Sark knew that quarterback, knows his parents, watching him since high school, was determined to start him, and he will play him again this coming week, and they will lose. If that quarterback is in 2 more games, they will lose.
No, they're not going to lose. They're playing at TCU this week.
TCU, I
awful.
mean.
But hold on, real quick, couple things, and also they said Ewers might be back this week. There's a chance he plays this week. I think. But I don't think they need him.
I don't love him either. But anyway,
yeah, but I don't think
I'm with Colin. He's all right.
I don't think he's great, but I don't think they need him. But he's clearly an upgrade from what they have right now.
He doesn't like to get hit. He's just like
Tua.
Tua.
But okay, but we already know he's better than Malik Murphy by a lot, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right.
And so here's the thing: the only game I think that is losable because we get Tech at home. I don't think Tech has any shot to beat us. I don't think TCU could beat us with Malik Murphy. The game we play in 2 weeks is at Iowa State. It's just a tough place to play, and Texas notoriously has issues there. Yeah. That's the one I think we need Ewers. So if I was Sark, if Ewers is 70-80% this week, I'm sitting him out, and I'm saying I think we can win with Malik Murphy this week because I think TCU's that bad. They have a backup quarterback in. They basically punted on the year anyway. They couldn't even beat Tech last week. So I think if I was Sark, I would wait for the Iowa State game to put him in. But I want to say a few things real quick about it. So they were up 17, and Sark's taking shots with the kid down the field.
Yep.
Made no sense. That was mistake
That's
number
the
one.
First mistake.
Mistake number one, and you could see it right when he threw the pick. But even after the interception, what did the defense do? Force another 3 and out. Then they get the ball back. They go inside the red zone, inside the 15. It's 4th and 2.5.
So bad.
And you could kick a field goal and go up 20. What do?
So
you
bad.
decide to go for it, and you go for it with your fourth-string quarterback Wildcat who hasn't touched the ball the whole game, Savion Red. He goes into the game, fumbles the snap. What happens on the next possession? The defense forces another 3 and out. And what happens? The Texas still can't score, and they punt. And on the punt, do you know who the guy who gave up the block punt? It was Savion Red. I went back and watched it. The same kid who fumbled the snap.
Yeah.
He's in on special teams. He allows the guy to get through and block the punt. So the same kid essentially cost you 2 drives. And then K-State goes, you can't expect the defense to keep playing like that. They're not going to give up 0 points the whole game. So, at the end of the game, even you look at the score, Kansas State scored 30, but you had an interception by Murphy that started the drive inside the 20. You had a fumble by Brooks where they started inside the 30. So yards-wise, the defense was great. And then the last thing I have to say is you have to give credit to the defensive front. They are the ones who won the game for this team. Right? So the last play of the game, and I listened to Chris Kleiman's press conference. It really didn't make any sense. He talked about how, his kids felt the momentum of the game shift, and they've been in games like that. There's a lot of experienced kids on that team, and they were experienced, and they felt the momentum shift, and they knew they had a shot, and you could feel it. That's why when Malik threw that pick, me and Turner were watching the game together. It was like, uh-oh, we knew something bad was about to happen, and it snowballed real quick. But then he goes and says, well, I knew, he said this, and I listened to the whole press conference. He said, I was going to try to end that game as quickly as possible. If Texas went and scored a touchdown and we scored a touchdown, I was going for 2. He said, my guys were gassed, and I thought that this was our best chance to win the game. I completely think he misread that.
Absolutely.
They were the better team the whole second half. It made no sense to go for it, especially on a 4th and 4.
We have the worst quarterback in the game right there, and you go for it on 4th.
And in overtime, what happened? Sark threw it on 1st down, predictable run on 2nd, throw it incomplete on 3rd. So we gained 1 yard in overtime and won the game. Thank God Brent Auburn, Auburn, the kicker, was the MVP of the game, other than the defensive line. And the last thing I'll say is the guy's name, who nobody will ever notice in this game unless you're a big Texas guy or watch the film, Byron Murphy. Okay, and Tavondre Sweat was awesome, and Ethan Burke was awesome, but Byron Murphy on the final play, he shoved 2 Kansas State offensive linemen back so far that the quarterback, what's the quarterback's name for Kansas State? Not Skylar Thompson, that's the old one. It's
Howard.
Will Howard. He pushed 2 offensive linemen back by himself. He's about 350 fucking pounds, but he pushed them back, and he basically made the kid run back and fall down.
Yep.
And they ended up winning the game because of that. That was what changed the game and won the game. Byron Murphy, if you are a Texas fan, go tweet at Byron Murphy and say thank you because he saved Sark's ass and saved the season. Go. You have anything else on the game?
Nope.
Turner?
No.
All right. Well, Big Dog's got to go. Thanks for joining us.
Got to go make money.
We're going to keep going, talking some college football, but it was fun, and thanks for telling us about your cars.
There's not that much interesting college football this weekend, though, to be honest with you.
Well,
really?
we're gonna
Thanks, Big Dog.
Thanks.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Except Dion. Dion's interesting.
lost.
Dion was interesting.
They suck.
No. They're going to
all
go
the
get a
shit
whole
still
different line. He's going to recruit, and they're going to be in the playoffs next year.
Oh my God.
All right, so now that Big Dog has left us, we'll go to our specialty, college football. We'll talk a little bit. We'll kind of do this as a speed round. And let's start with Dabo Sweeney. After the call from the infamous
Tyler from Greensville, right?
From Spartanburg. Spartanburg. Tyler from Spartanburg.
How old are you, Tyler?
You know what? If you want to come do the job, you can. Tyler.
Yeah.
That was great. Great content there.
Yeah, I just think we've touched on it a little bit. Why coaches go on those radio shows is just beyond, like, there's nothing good.
Right.
And maybe it's part of the media obligation he has to do. I don't know.
It's not.
Fielding calls from rando fans, like, I appreciate that Dabo does it, I guess. But also, like, you got to have a tougher skin. Like, just say, look, man, we won 10 games, 10 out of the last 12 years. This year we're 4-4. We have some turnover. It's, it's not going as good as I'd like it to, but Tyler, we've had a lot of success. How old are you? 12 years old? Like, laugh, you sound 12. And then you shut it down. You don't go in an 8-minute tirade. And then after you beat Notre Dame, like, get on your knees, crying,
God,
like you've won the Super Bowl, and say, oh man, our guys got more fight in us, and like, no, you don't. You're 5-4. And,
You're 5-4.
You have just as many 5- and 4-star kids as Notre Dame. So I mean, it's and you're at home.
Yeah.
I don't know what the big deal was with it, but Dabo rubs people the wrong way. Some people like him. I think naturally he's a good guy. I think he's a little bit of a goober, but yeah. Don't argue with fans on radio shows. It's a bad look.
It's a bad look. He went in the press conference the next day and continued to talk about it for like another 30 minutes.
It really bothered him.
It really bothered him, and they were like, he was talking about on the press conference, like, I don't care about the outside noise, and so one of the reporters was like, then why are you making this such a big deal?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. He goes on the press, after the game, and he's like, we better buy stock in Clemson. This is a big deal. They stormed the fucking field for beating a 3-loss Notre Dame team. I mean, come on, man. I mean, it's a bad look for Clemson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to be this big-time program and you don't talk about the outside noise and everybody has a bad year, that's fine. He's right about some of his points. He just went about it saying it in the wrong way. I hope Clemson, they're looking at their schedule, they probably do win out and get to 8 wins. They're only like losable game. They play Georgia Tech next week, so they could lose that, but probably not. They got North Carolina. That's their only like tough game left, really. So they're probably going to be 7 or 8 wins still, but that's not a good look for Clemson storming the field against Notre Dame.
Down year for Clemson, but yeah, don't storm the field when you beat a 3-loss team.
Come on, man. Moving on, shootout in Southern Cal. Lincoln Riley fires Alex Grinch, his defensive coordinator, after the game. It was 52-42. We both talked about how that game could go either way. Both defenses were awful, but I didn't think I didn't think Caleb Williams was gonna. There was a lot of people talking about how he might not play after the end of this season or at the end of it last week. I thought that was bullshit. But after this one, I know you had said it. I think you might be right. He might not play anymore.
Yeah, he's done. I think. I just don't think there's any. If kids sit out bowl games these days, and he obviously thinks he's the bona fide first pick of the draft. I don't think any scout or anybody's going to hold it against him that he just sits out. There might be some kind of stipulation because I know he's making a lot of NIL money.
Right.
So there might be some things that it's like, hey, you can't sit out any. That would be the only thing, in my opinion, that keeps him playing. But yeah, the season's over. He's not going to play in a bowl game anyway. They're out of the Pac-12 championship.
That was the only reason he was playing.
Yeah, because they could still technically,
they only had, because even though they had 2 losses, one was against Notre Dame, so they only had 1 loss in the Pac-12.
So anyway.
But now they're pretty much out of the race.
Ship sailed. Lincoln Riley has to fire somebody. I guess that's his friend there.
It's his best friend.
It's the culture. It's
100%.
Lincoln Riley's like openly said, I think we've talked about it, doesn't care about fucking defense.
Nope.
Thinks he can outscore people, but he found out this year that it's hard out when your defense is giving up 50. It's hard to score 50 every single game. So
I mean, and I will say this last thing on them is, I think you're right that Caleb Williams probably should sit out in the sense that he hasn't looked good in the last couple games. And this game against Washington, he played well despite the loss. So if you go out on this game, he probably still is the number 1 overall pick no matter what happens, but it's between him and Drake May, and Drake May has had his struggles the last couple weeks as well. So he probably goes 1 either way, but it's like, I don't know. you said it. The way he went to the stands, he was crying with his mom holding him. It seemed like that was his last college game. And I think there is he's annoying to me that he goes out and says, I want a piece of a NFL franchise. That's wild to me, but that sucks. I wish he wasn't like that because I do think he plays really hard and he does care about winning, but he makes it too much about himself. I agree. If you're getting paid the money that he is in an NIL deal, you should have to play every fucking game. I don't care if you're 0-14. You should be playing every fucking game.
Yeah, that might be the deal. We'll see. But if he does play, I have a feeling that's the reason why.
You're probably right.
But the way he, like you said, the way he was crying with his mom, I think he's done. Right when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, he's done playing. That's the end of that.
100%. On the other side of the country, we had in the Big 12 the last Bedlam matchup between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. Both of us picked Okie State to win the game outright over OU. We were right. It was a very tight game. We watched it together. The series count all time going in showed that it wasn't really a rivalry. It was OU 91 wins to, I believe, 19 for Okie State, and there were 7 draws. But Gundy gets the better of Venables, and Okie State gets to go out on top with bragging rights for who knows how long. I mean, they probably will eventually renew the rivalry, but at least for a little while OU departs for the SEC. That's it. What do you think about, is Oklahoma...
I wonder what the count is, and obviously Oklahoma dominated them forever, but I wonder what the count... I bet the count in, like, the last 12 years is, like, very... Like 7-5 or 6-6.
It's actually not. I believe they said only Oklahoma State has... I think that was only Gundy's 3rd win against OU.
Really?
I could be wrong, but
Shit.
I'm pretty sure that's what they said.
I thought it would be
he
much
was
closer because they had some really... Like, especially like in 2011 and 12 and 13, Oklahoma State was really good there for a while.
I agree.
I'm surprised it was that lopsided. But, yeah, I don't know. I think...
that was his 3rd win. He was 3-15 against the Sooners.
That's nuts. I'm happy. Yeah, I would have never guessed that. I would have thought it was much
I thought it was crazy when I saw that stat, too.
Had to been... I remember
very
watching
close.
some close games, though.
I thought they won at least 5.
Yeah. So, and also, I wish they did that game at the end. That should be the... I don't know why they played it so early. That used to always be the last game of the year.
Just like Texas and A&M used to be like on Thanksgiving.
They'd play that Saturday after... Yeah, they'd play that Saturday after Thanksgiving. And Oklahoma State almost always. And it used to be, freezing cold. And, yeah, I liked when they did that. But anyway, good game. Glad Oklahoma State was able to win. We've talked about how overrated Oklahoma is all year.
Yeah, and we'll get to picks in a second, but like I said, I called it last week. I said I think they're going to lose 3 straight. I didn't think you called Kansas. I didn't think they'd lose to Kansas, but I thought they would lose to West Virginia and Oklahoma State. I think they're going to skid 3 in a row, and they're already probably going to miss the Big 12 title game now. It looks like, barring a lot, it would take 2 Okie State.
Kansas has the tiebreaker.
If Texas wins out, there's almost no chance for OU because Kansas and Okie State both have a tiebreaker on them. If Texas were to lose one, you could get in a weird 3 or 4-way tie. Yeah. So maybe. But I think they're probably out of the race, and I think they're going to lose to a good West Virginia team next week anyway. Quickly moving on, we will touch quickly. Alabama beats LSU in a shootout. Long gone are the 2011 days where it was a double overtime 9-6 win.
Those games are awesome.
Where LSU, those were the fun games back in the day where it was like a punt fest and there was really, really talented defenses. Completely different game here. I got to give a lot of credit. And man, Brian Kelly is a fucking idiot. I texted you about this. Jaden Daniels was an absolute stud in that game. He threw for 219. He ran for 163. He was a leading passer and leading rusher in the game, had 3 touchdowns, and didn't even play for the entirety of the 4th quarter. I mean, he was absolutely great in the game. If it weren't for him, LSU is probably a 4-win football team. If it weren't for him, they're not even close to in that game. And Brian Kelly comes out after the game and said that Jaden Daniels, quote, was good, not great in the game. You wish he could be great. Ridiculous comment by Brian Kelly. If I'm Jaden Daniels, I'm not sure if he has any eligibility left, but if he does, I would get the fuck out of LSU. Brian Kelly is a dumpster fire. That defense for LSU is a dumpster fire. And Alabama has been very fortunate with their schedule. They've been very fortunate to get out of some games, but oddly enough, they got 1 loss, and if they win out, which they're probably going to do, they're going to go play Georgia for an SEC title, and if they win that game, it's going to be hard to keep them out of the college football playoff.
Yeah, they'll probably end up getting in. And I hate to, I was kind of a noted Milroe hater. He's gotten, any way you cut it, he's gotten way better.
Still inaccurate.
Oh, for sure, but way, way better than what he was at the beginning of the year. Making more throws. The one throw, he hit the guy on the wheel route, like out of the backfield, was a perfect throw. He obviously still very raw, but him being able to run out of the backfield is obviously the difference. And yeah, that Alabama team, Nick Saban always they kind of start to peak towards the end of the year. The defense is getting better. Secondary obviously stinks, but the front seven's good. It will be interesting to see what happens with them in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because you look at how it could play out. If Alabama wins out, beats Georgia in the SEC title game,
they're 100% in.
Yeah, they're 100% in. But here's the thing: now you got, what if Texas wins out and they are Big 12 champs with one loss and beat Alabama, and you got Georgia with one loss to Alabama. Texas, who gets left out? Could be very, very tricky
Texas
there.
Will get left out.
You think so? Even though they beat Alabama?
Yeah.
In Alabama?
Yeah.
I don't think they could.
The only reason I say this is because you look at, and you even said it yourself, if you look at the college football playoff rankings right now, they have Texas behind
Oregon, which is wild.
So, in the thing is, if Alabama does get that win against Georgia, who's going to be the second best team in the country, yeah, I don't know how it will play out, and I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know how they leave Texas out. Not to mention, it's good to have Texas in the college football playoff.
They'd have to be out of their minds.
And Georgia and Alabama, like always, and you would much rather have Texas in there. But there's no shot Georgia's going to get left out with unless they get like blown out of the water or something. But if it's a close game, Georgia's not going to be out of the college football playoff.
I think my hope for Texas is win out. Alabama loses a close game to Georgia in the SEC title game, so Georgia goes, Michigan or Ohio State goes, one or the other, and then Texas wins the Big 12, they go, and you got to put in Florida State. It's going to be real interesting because to me, it's weird. It's really weird how this is why I hate the College Football Playoff Committee. There's no possible way you could possibly say Texas' resume is worse than Oregon's. It's just not. Texas' resume is better. They have the better win. They have the same essential loss, pretty much, a very close loss to a good top 10 team, at the time an undefeated team, and it's like, how is Oregon ahead of them? But you look at it, if Oregon wins out, they're only going to improve their resume more than probably Texas would. Very interesting to see what would happen if, let's say, Florida State goes undefeated, Michigan goes undefeated, and then you have Georgia get in undefeated, and now you got Texas and Oregon both with one loss. Could be my hope as well as Washington somehow loses before the end of the season, and then they beat Oregon again in the championship game.
I think Texas gets screwed regardless, because I hate to say this, because I think Oregon or Washington, things can happen, but you have to assume one of those teams are in. Obviously, it comes down to Florida State. Florida State loses, then that helps Texas a lot. I don't see Florida State losing. So you have those two teams in. Obviously, Michigan or Ohio State are getting in. And the problem is, if that's a close game, I don't think they're going to put Texas in over either one of them.
Well, I disagree, because here's the difference. They do put into consideration conference title. So to me, if you have Texas one loss and they're Big 12 champs, and Ohio State loses to Michigan and they have one loss and they're not Big 10 champs, I don't think they're going to put Ohio State. I think if they were both champs of if something weird happened and Ohio State lost one and then beat Michigan and won the Big 10 championship, I just don't see it. I think if you have a one-loss Big 12 champion, there's no way that they get it over the Big 10 non-conference champion with one loss. And now I do understand they have them number one right now, so they believe that their resume is really good.
Well, the good thing that happened is that Notre Dame lost.
Right.
So now, that's good for Texas.
It is good for Texas. But here's the thing to me. I actually think it's going to come down to Oregon versus Texas. I think Michigan goes, Georgia goes, Florida State goes. And to me, now I understand, and you even said this. You said you thought Texas would go over Oregon earlier in the week. We were talking. I think you're right. I don't like that Oregon's ahead of them now, but it's going to be hard for me to say, to believe that the committee is going to look at the resumes and say Texas beating Alabama on the road early in the year, beating teams with a backup quarterback.
I don't know why I'm going. Who did Texas lose to?
OU.
That's right. Duh.
So they lose to OU, who at the time is undefeated and a top 10 team in the country. And I know I'm actually rooting for OU to beat West Virginia, even though I'm going to pick West Virginia, because I want OU to finish with 10 wins, so the loss looks not as bad. But still, at the time, they're both undefeated. It's a rivalry game. You lose on the last drive of the game. The same way kind of Oregon lost to Washington. So to me, I just don't see how you possibly, it would shock me. It would actually shock me. And not just saying this as a Texas fan, it would be baffling to me if they left Texas out and put Oregon in over them. I don't think they could do it.
You're saying if Oregon beats undefeated Washington again? Oh, man, I think they'll put Oregon in. Oregon played Washington to a draw on the road, basically. Lost, like you said, had every chance to win the game. And then if they beat an undefeated Washington team in the Pac-12 championship, I would be shocked if Texas went ahead of them. Because Texas, the wins they can, obviously they have the best win now. I would agree with that 100%. But the wins that they could have the rest of the year, like they're playing, Texas Tech sucks. TCU sucks. Iowa State's okay. But then say you beat like an Oklahoma State or Kansas in the Big 12 championship and Oregon beats Washington, I think there's a 0% chance that they jump them.
Here's why it's ridiculous to me.
I get why it's ridiculous to you. I'm with you in your argument.
Logically.
I'm with you with your logical argument. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I do not think they already have Oregon rated ahead of them.
They do, which is ridiculous to me.
No way.
I don't know that, but I just don't see them leaving Texas out. That's like a thing. It's like if Alabama was in this spot, you would think Alabama somehow gets in. But look at this. This is why I don't understand how Oregon is possibly above Texas. You think about it. Here's their non-conference, dude. They beat Portland State. They beat Tech on the road and should have lost the game.
Yeah.
And then they beat fucking Hawaii. That's their non-conference.
That's
Texas
horrible.
played Wyoming, who's not bad at all. Beat Alabama on the road. I mean, come on. And then you look at the rest of their schedule. Who's the best win for Oregon?
Yeah, no, but
Utah.
What I'm trying to say is this, though. I 100% agree with what you're saying.
I'm not saying you're disagreeing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it's wild to me that they're ahead of them.
110% agree with you, but what it is the fact they have them ahead of them, right? Which is wild. I agree. It's ridiculous that they have them ahead of them. But if Oregon wins out, if they're already ahead of Texas, there's no way that Texas can jump them. Like, it just, if the committee, that's why I'm saying the committee almost dug their graves by doing that in that situation.
I just think
How could you have Oregon winning out and Texas winning out?
I agree.
And then Oregon beating Washington and then say, oh no, actually we're gonna jump them now and put Texas. You can't do it.
I agree, but they do weird shit at times, number one. And number two, I think they still could come back and be like, okay, Texas this week, even though, who did Oregon beat this week? They beat Cal. They beat the living shit out of them, but Texas went and beat top 25 Kansas State. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I still don't know how you don't do that. Now, if they could, I don't think they will, but they could put Texas above them this week now and move Texas to 5, to 6, drop Oregon back to 7. Now you have a shot. I do agree with you. The logic of it doesn't make sense. Like, if you have Oregon rated above them now, there's no, and I said this on the pod last week. I said I don't know how you jump Texas over them, but I still think that the committee will look at it and be like, man, there's no way we leave Texas out of a playoff when they lost one game to Oklahoma by 4, beat Alabama on the road, and won the Big 12 title game. That would be absolutely fucking shocking to me to get left out. I think everybody in the world would think if Texas went out, they'd be in the championship. But again, logically, you are right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, I actually think, thinking of it now, Texas's best shot is that Alabama just runs the table and beats Georgia. And Georgia lost head-to-head to Alabama on a neutral field. Texas beat Alabama at Alabama.
And then they would both go.
I would think that Bama and Texas would go, and you have to leave Georgia out because...
But then at that point, you still have to leave Oregon out if Florida State wins out. Florida State, Michigan.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be tough for Texas to get in.
It just doesn't... I mean, here's the one thing I will say. A last thing, and we can move on. It almost always works itself out.
Yeah.
It almost does. Now, if that... I told you, though, I said this 2 weeks ago. I said this is going to be the first year that something really shitty is going to happen.
It's going to because it's the last year before they go to the playoff. So you know there's going to be like 2 teams that are really pissed off.
Unfortunately, Oregon is my second favorite team, but I'm going to be rooting for them to lose. They play USC at Arizona State versus Oregon State. I think they could lose. They could lose one of those games.
They could lose to Oregon State.
And I do think everybody jumped on the bandwagon a little too quick. Or Utah's not that great. They beat Washington State by 14. You know, what's their best win besides Utah? I mean, nobody. They beat their best win besides Utah is Texas Tech, dude. I mean, it's pathetic. That's why it's ridiculous that they're ahead of Texas right now. It's just wild.
That's really
it's a total prisoner of the moment thing.
Yeah.
It's because they should have beat Washington and everybody saw that they were the better team. That kind of screwed Texas. I wish Oregon would have just won that game. That knocks Washington out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on real quick. Last thing, and we'll move on from college football. I think it's time, and I know we're in Texas, we're in San Antonio, a lot of Aggie fans out there. I'm a Longhorn fan. I guess you could call yourself a Red Raider fan.
Yeah.
But I know you pull for my Longhorns for me, but we're both not big Aggie guys. And looking at it unbiasedly and not as a member of the A&M, I'll call it family to be nice, they are 5-4. They've lost 9 straight games on the road with Jimbo as their head coach. They had multiple chances to beat an Ole Miss team last week that, now given Ole Miss should have run away with it early, but a blocked field goal or allowed them to get them in the game, and then they have multiple chances late. But again, retook the lead, and it's like, okay, Ole Miss blocks a field goal at the end of the game to seal it, and there's another team with one loss that could plays Georgia next week that could stir things up with a win. But you have Jimbo with this massive buyout on his contract. Real quick, give me your take on Jimbo Fisher. What is A&M's move here? Because it feels like this is just going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy buyout, but A&M has such a crazy amount of money. I think I would probably can him after this year, but I assume it's going to be one more year and then he'll be gone. Lane Kiffin kind of had a funny backhanded insult about Jimbo Fisher because they're 5-3 coming into this game.
They were, yes.
He said they're the most talented 5-3 team ever in college football, which is true. I mean, when you look at it, it's nothing but 5- and 4-star guys everywhere, and they just they can't win.
Yep.
So it's either you're not developing talent. There's a lot of different interesting thoughts on it, but
absolutely,
I think I would fire him after this year because things aren't getting any better.
Yeah.
And he's had time at this point. But he will end up getting one more year, and I think they'll fire him after that and pay the buyout.
I think you're right.
That'd be my guess.
I think you're right. Moving on, real quick, let's go through our picks for this week. I don't know. I'm going to go through our pods the last couple and put our records on this when I edit it because I want to have what we are. I don't know what we are so far.
Half the time I forget who I picked. But
I
do
think.
Who did I pick again? I was like, I did pick Indiana last week.
You got a big upset. You
had
did.
A couple upsets.
That was a great picking Indiana. We both got Okie State. You had Kansas a couple weeks ago.
I went for another upset last week, though. I said USC, right? They lost.
You did take USC over Washington. Yeah. But we'll go through our picks here and so quickly through. We got a Thursday night game. This is an easy pick, but just since they're a ranked team, Virginia taking on Louisville.
I'll go Louisville.
Number 13 Louisville. I will take Louisville as well. I'm going to say Louisville by 21. 17. All right. Quickly, we're just going to always pick this team because they're your boys. But the Wyoming Cowboys.
Friday night again,
and they're taking on UNLV. 7-2 UNLV.
Ooh, it's a tough game.
Honestly,
is it? Where's it at?
It's in Las Vegas.
Shit. I'm gonna pick my Cowboys because I'm loyal. Cowboys by 1, but UNLV's probably gonna be whatever. I'm taking Wyoming. Wyoming by 1.
Give me UNLV by 3. UNLV by 3. All right, dude. I have to tell you, I know you're retired, but I am not. And this is a game that I just saw this line and I can't fucking believe it.
Oh.
Penn State, Michigan. What do you think it is?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
What would you make it? What would you? I know you're not
If I had to make
if you had to make the line,
game, and I know it's not going to be this because it's at Happy Valley. Are they playing at night?
11 a.m.
The actual line on that game, I would say, should be, since it's at Penn State, I'd make it 14.5. But the line is probably 7.5.
I would make it 15 or 14.
Yeah.
It's 3.5.
That's why.
I cannot believe it. I saw that. I'm actually gonna go on here and max bet Michigan right now.
Funny.
I cannot help myself. There's no fucking way. I'm gonna buy the half point down to 3 and just watch them. I'm gonna sit back and sip my my Diet Coke and watch them win that game by 42 points.
Yeah.
So
funny.
Go ahead. Pick.
I'll take Michigan by 17.
I'll say Michigan by 20.
Yeah.
Michigan by 20. I don't that we both said it. Penn State's overrated and Michigan is the best team in the country. They're going to prove it on Saturday.
Yep.
Alabama taking on Kentucky in Lexington. These are 11 a.m. kicks right now.
Alabama by 17.
Alabama by 14. 11 a.m. kick. Texas Tech traveling to Lawrence, Kansas.
Kansas by 10.
Trap game for the Jayhawks, man. That's a trap game. They're due for a loss. Man, but Tech is so bad defensively. I'll take Kansas. It's going to be a tight game. Kansas by 3. We'll take, again, quickly here, Tulane taking on Tulsa. Tulane's 24th in the country is where we're picking it.
Tulane by 25.
I like it. Tulane by 17. All right, we'll move on. Let's see here, going down the list. Because my boy Bailey over at the office is a Vanderbilt fan. Vanderbilt traveling to South Carolina. 5 total combined wins between the two teams. Who you got?
Vanderbilt by a field goal.
Vanderbilt pulls the upset. I was going to take them too because South Carolina almost lost to Jacksonville State last week. Give me nice pick, Brad Powers. Give me Vanderbilt by 1. Let's see. Georgia Tech 5-4 traveling to 5-4 Clemson.
This is a spot that you think Clemson loses, but they'll win. They'll find a way to win the game by 3 points. Clemson by 3.
Yeah, man, you're again. We tend to be on the same wavelength a lot, but I was going to say about the same. I'll say Clemson by 4 because I think you're exactly spot. If this game was at Georgia Tech, I'd take them to win, but it's in Death Valley. Okay, moving on. We're not going to pick this, but dude, how about Liberty being 9-0? Liberty is undefeated.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw them play Sam Houston State in a game that Sam Houston State got their first win last week. And Sam Houston State should have beat Liberty.
Yeah, they should have beat Liberty.
They should have won the game.
They should have beat Liberty.
So, I've been very kind of unimpressed, but when I saw them play, but then I look at the scores week after week, and I'm like, dang, they've been playing pretty good.
Liberty and James Madison are a combined 18-0 and have a chance to both go undefeated. They're both playing.
James Madison smoked Georgia State this week.
Every time
I picked a bunch of upsets.
Yeah, well, I thought they had a shot to lose the way they played the week before. Yeah. Okay, so here we'll pick this one. 1:00 kick in the Pac-12. Arizona 6-3, won 3 straight.
They're playing good.
They're playing good football, and I jumped on that bandwagon 3 weeks ago, and I'm glad I did. I've ridden them for 3 straight weeks, and they're taking on Colorado. Who, if Colorado loses this one, that they're pretty much can kiss bowl eligibility goodbye. They're 4-5. They would have to win their last 2 games.
Yeah, I don't know where they're playing, but
Colorado.
Arizona will beat them by 14.
I'll say Arizona by, the defense for Colorado played good last week. I can't believe Prime switched his offensive coordinator play calling duties. That wasn't the issue. It was the defense. And somehow the offense played horrible after he did that last week. Give me Arizona by 11. Let's see, moving down the list, we've got Baylor traveling to 23 Kansas State. Kansas State moved up 2 in the rankings after losing to Texas.
Kansas State by 17.
Kansas State by 17. Give me Kansas State. Man, that was a heartbreaking loss. They're pretty mentally tough there. Give me Kansas State by 21. The line is 20.5. I think they cover. Miami is 6-3. They travel to Tallahassee, Florida to take on undefeated Florida State.
Oh.
Van Dyke is playing.
Give me Miami by a field goal.
I like it.
By a field goal.
I hope you're fucking right because I really want to see Texas make the playoff. Give me Florida State by 7. It'll be closer than people think.
If Florida State, they need to have a good start the game well. They have a lot of games where they don't start very well.
I agree with you on that. I'm going to pick this one before you because I already know what you're going to do, and I want to pick the upset first. Utah is going to beat Washington in Seattle. Utah travels to Washington, and Washington gets their first loss of the year. Utah wins it by... Washington struggles. Penix throws 2 picks, and Utah wins by 7.
I probably would have picked an upset, but since you took them, I'll take Washington by 7.
I wanted to beat you to it.
Washington by 7.
Okay, Washington by 7. Okay, 2:30 kick, Tennessee, number 17, traveling to Missouri after a tough loss to Georgia last week.
Tennessee by a field goal.
Missouri by a field goal for me. Okie State ranked 22nd after losing to South Alabama in week 3. They are now in the top 25. They're on their way to a Big 12 title berth if they can win their last 3, and they take on Central Florida in Orlando.
Man, this is a spot that I don't think
the line is
2.5. Yeah, I don't think Central Florida is any good. This is a spot that Oklahoma State could lose, but I'm going to take Oklahoma State by a field goal. Close, ugly. I bet it's an ugly game. They're going to win by a field goal.
I'm gonna take Central Florida here.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like a spot that they could definitely win.
That line just makes me think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
If it was 4.5, I'd take Okie State to win by a field goal. But with it being under a field goal, give me Central Florida to pull the upset by 3. This is the Slobberknocker game of the week. Rutgers traveling to Iowa City. I feel like Iowa's the Slobberknocker game every week. Yeah. The total on this one. What do you think the total is on this one? This might be a record.
33.
28.5. This might be a record on total. Low total of the week. But Slobberknocker game of the week. Iowa Rutgers.
Good Lord. 28.
28.5.
I will take... I just can't... I can't take Butgers. Give me Iowa 9-6 Iowa.
9-6
All
Iowa.
field goals, no touchdowns.
I told you. It's hard to play at Piscataway last week. Ohio State almost lost. The score was not indicative of how close that game was. Give me Rutgers by field goal. Rutgers by in traditional fashion. Let me say Rutgers by 2. Got to be a safety. Let's see. We don't need to pick Northwestern, Wisconsin. Let's see here. Auburn versus Arkansas. Arkansas for me as well. Give me Arkansas by a field goal.
Arkansas by 4.
By 4. Okay, we'll move down to Oregon State against Stanford.
Oregon State by 14.
Oregon State by 17. Here we go. Great game. Ole Miss, number 10 in the country, traveling to Georgia. The line is only 10.5. Georgia Bulldogs undefeated. Ole Miss 8-1.
Georgia by 17 points.
Georgia by, man.
I was gonna say 24, but Brock Bowers isn't playing.
I
think Georgia's gonna smoke them.
See, I think you're probably right. If Ole Miss had a better offensive line, I think they'd have a shot to win this.
And I saw them try to stop A&M's run game.
That's a good point.
Get close,
That's a good point. Give me Georgia by 11. West Virginia at Oklahoma. I'm picking West Virginia in the upset by 3. I said that they were going to lose 3 straight, and I'm going to stick with it.
I would love to see Oklahoma lose again, but I'll say Oklahoma by 4.
Oklahoma by 4. Michigan State traveling to Ohio State. This used to be a good matchup.
Ohio State by 35.
Ohio State by... They can't score enough, so I'm going to say 27. But my Spartans did get their first win of the year last year, and they cashed.
That's a school you don't want to be associated with.
I don't.
Don't just call them your Spartans.
I'm not saying
between Larry Nasser and Mel Tucker.
I hate Michigan State, but I told you I was going to bet on them until they fucking.
There's another story that came out. There was a fugitive from Louisiana. They got fired from Louisiana Lafayette for cooking meth, and he changed his name, and he was a professor at Michigan State.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, this year that happened, and they just found out he was lying about.
How did he get that through admissions? How did he get hired?
I don't know.
What a brilliant guy!
Look, they didn't.
We need him on the podcast.
Yeah, they got Larry Nasser got under the radar too.
Well, that guy, that's a different story.
Piece of shit.
Texas, I hope that guy rots and is he dead yet? Did he kill himself? I think somebody killed him. I hope he died. Texas at TCU.
Texas by 17.
Texas by 14. Florida at LSU. Jaden Daniels is in concussion protocol.
LSU will still beat him. That kid,
he's not bad.
Backup's not bad. LSU by 7.
LSU, that defense is so bad. That's going to be a shootout. Give me LSU by 10. Mississippi State at A&M.
A&M will win that game. Mississippi State's really good.
Yeah, they're really bad.
A&M by 10.
A&M by 17. Quickly down. Duke, North Carolina. This should have been a really good ranked matchup.
Yeah.
Neither teams are ranked.
North Carolina by 4.
If Riley Leonard, I'm going to do contingency pick. If Riley Leonard plays...
Yeah, I agree. If he plays, I think they'll beat him, but I don't know
but I think he's not going to play. I think they're shutting him down, so I'm going to go North Carolina by 7.
Yeah.
Arizona State at UCLA.
UCLA by 10.
UCLA by 14. Arizona State doesn't get blown out a lot, and they got killed last week. They'll bounce back and keep it close, at least the first half. Last one.
Yeah.
USC travels to Oregon, to Autzen Stadium. Very tough place to play. We don't know if Caleb Williams is going to play.
I assume he won't, and I'll take Oregon by 20.
I am going to take... Okay, let me do a contingency pick here.
Okay.
If Caleb Williams plays, I'll take USC because I want them to win so Texas gets in. But I'm going to take Oregon if he doesn't play. So I'll say if Caleb Williams plays, USC somehow wins by 3. If Williams doesn't play, Oregon by 24. I mean, they'll beat the living shit out of him. That's it for college football. Let's do a quick NBA take before we do our NFL picks and get out of here. So quickly, the Spurs, man, they played the Suns in a 2-game series, which I like that we talked about this. I like that the NBA is doing that now. They're doing a bit of an NBA, you play 2 in a row against the same team. I think they should do more of that. I think that's kind of cool.
Hopefully it limits people sitting out for load management and
Right,
bullshit.
right.
You're in the same city, probably a day before you play, then you have a day off. I mean, like Charles Barkley said, you're getting paid fucking $60 million a year to play kids' games.
Just go play. The contracts are so high. I mean, come on, man. But I will say, man, I was really, really impressed. The first game against the Suns, the Spurs were down 20 in the second half. They made an incredible comeback. I think they forced it to they were gonna have a chance to force overtime. Keldon Johnson steals the ball with like 5 seconds to go and hits a game winner. Johnson has been incredible to start the season. He's arguably been their best player. They then come back, and you think, okay, Devin Booker comes back in game 2. Looks like the Suns are probably going to kill him, right? Spurs come out and dominate the whole game and win by 11. And when the Suns make a run at the end of the game, who takes over? Victor Wembanyama had his best game as a pro, 38 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. He was an outstanding. The one thing I've been really impressed with, other than how good he is, how good of a free throw shooter that guy is, which in today's NBA is a huge deal. If you're that big and you get fouled, he's going to be in his prime. He's going to shoot 10 to 12 free throws a game.
Yep.
And if you can shoot 85% from the free throw line like he's shooting right now, man, they're tough to beat. But I will say this, and if you want to chime in real quick, they played the Raptors yesterday. And they led by 20 at halftime. And Greg Popovich drives me fucking nuts, man. He just does this thing where he thinks he's having them learn by leaving the same fucking lineup in there. And it's like he basically from the last like 6 minutes of the game all the way through overtime, he didn't make a single substitution. He has Jeremy Sohan in there, who is fucking worthless. I mean, that is the worst pick the Spurs have made since Luka Simonic. And I don't understand. They're trying to play him at the point guard. They have Trey Jones playing 37 minutes a game. The guy's fucking awful. They're getting torched defensively. Leaves him in there. Victor was not playing well. Keldon, who has been the best player in the first 6 games consistently, had 26 on 11 of 18 shooting. But the Spurs blow the whole lead. They get outscored 39-24 in the fourth quarter. And the Spurs have the ball. This was hilarious. The Spurs have the ball with 3 seconds to go. Timeout. Pop takes both of his timeouts because he didn't use one earlier when they had a chance to win the game. And Pop's not even in the huddle. The assistant's drawing up the play. And, you would think, okay, Pop's still in there, talking. He's standing 14, 15 feet away from the huddle, nowhere to be found. And they're showing him in the game, like letting his assistants run it. And I swear to God, I called it. We're sitting there watching with my dad. I said, we won't even get a shot off. We're gonna turn the ball over on the inbound. Sure enough, Scotty Barnes steals the ball, and they end up getting a good look in regulation. Goes to overtime. Spurs were totally out of gas and lose. But dude, you have to. I mean, I know you don't watch the Spurs all that much like I do, but Pop's got to fucking go, man. It's over. Why we gave him another contract just is beyond me. And I love Pop, and I'm not trying to shit on him. He won us a lot of titles, and he's great. It's time for change, man. We have young guys and young core, and we could really, really turn them around. And this is an unpopular take, I'm sure, but he's fucking done.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
He's done.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think he's going anywhere. And yeah, the Spurs, I mean, look, just young team. I don't know why I didn't make any subs. I didn't see that at all. But look, we came back from a game down 20. We lost a game up 20.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the NBA
It
these
is.
days. I mean, it's like there's 20-point leads and really a 10-point lead these days. It's like teams can score 8 points and 30, turnover 3, turnover. I mean, you see it happen all the time. Yeah, Wembanyama looks very, very promising. I thought he was going to be very good, but the way he's playing even early on is just incredible. Like you said, the one game I did watch was that Phoenix game where Booker was playing and he just took over. Scored all those points. So
I think it was the third most.
Vessel's out, right?
Yeah, Vassell played.
Vassell
Played in the first half of that second Phoenix game, and he was like, I believe he was like 7 of 10, 3 of 3 from 3 with 17 points in 17 minutes, and then he pulled his quad, and he hadn't played since.
Yeah. So
he's really good too.
Yeah.
He's been really good.
Having him out. Yeah. Looking forward to see. I think the Spurs are anywhere from like 30. I would say they're going to win like 34, 35 games this year probably. Maybe. I don't know what in the West, like, that last play-in spot. That would be my guess for them.
We were texting in the game, and I think I said, like, it really wouldn't surprise me if the Spurs made the playoffs this year. And you said, yeah, maybe I could see them being in the play-in. You just think about it. Well, nowadays 10 teams essentially make it because you got the play-in game.
Yeah.
Out of 15 teams, you got to beat 5 teams in the West. Usually 2 or 3 are tanking anyway. I think that's legitimately possible. I mean, would I prefer us just have a better draft pick again? Sure. But I want to see some improvement. Last year I wanted us to lose to tank. This year I'm actually rooting for us to win.
Yeah, I think playing game this year, I don't think we'll end up getting to a playoff series. Who knows? But next year, I think, even with how good the West is, we should be able to pick up a couple players and be with Wembanyama like a 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah,
I would think.
I agree. Spurs take on the Pacers tonight. Not sure if we'll have this podcast out by that, but they take on the Pacers. They're 3-3 right now. And that game is in Indiana. Last quick thing on the NBA. Can we just quickly touch on the disgusting nature of the courts? Well, 2 parts. We have the NBA in-season tournament, right? And they all have had. I don't know if it was I guess it was a requirement or it was just the NBA designed them.
They made them add those courts.
And they're all like they're fully painted and they're like and I'll put some of the pictures on the podcast when I'm editing this so you guys can see them if you didn't see them. But they're just, you know what I'm talking about if you watch the NBA. They're disgusting. Everybody was like, this is so stupid. You told me you had the Warriors making fun of the tournament, Steph Curry and them. Nobody cares. This is such a shit show. I mean, if you're going to do this, like, you should have done it maybe like later in the season or something. Like, I understand you're trying to drum up some attention early on. I get it, but it's just, and you have the commentators with Richard Jefferson and JJ Redick trying to talk about how great this.
They have to build it up,
and it's just so fake and annoying. And it's like, man, it makes me want to not watch the NBA.
Yeah. The only people that care about it are the guys that are the 10th, 11th, 12th men on the bench who are making $3 or $4 million a year because you get a $500,000 prize if you win the tournament. So those guys are all in on the play-in game.
Why don't you take those guys and let them play in a tournament for some money? That'd be more interesting to watch.
Yeah,
it's dumb. NBA's not all that interesting. Although I am interested to see kind of how the Bucks play out because they have looked really bad defensively early in the year, and they've been the best defensive team the last couple of years. They trade for Lillard, and now they don't look as great. Obviously, going to take some time. Clippers make the big deal last week for James Harden and PJ Tucker. They've got a lot of guys now. I picked them to win the West. That could definitely come to fruition. Interesting to see how the Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, a lot of ball-dominant guys, ISO guys playing together now. I like to see how that plays out. There's some storylines, but it's just so damn early.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll move on, lastly, to some NFL picks, and then we'll get out of here. All right, so we'll start with the Thursday night game. Can't believe it's Week 10, by the way. I mean, we said this last week, too, but,
it's flying by.
It's flying by. Panthers at the Bears on Amazon Prime. Got a great one there.
Bears by a field goal.
Bears by a field goal, man. God, dude, the Panthers played better this week, and Bryce Young just threw 2 pick sixes. Like, literally, the Panthers would have won the game if he didn't throw those 2 balls. And I know that's a big thing to say, but it's like big difference, like obviously. But
who's their backup quarterback?
I believe it is
Isn't it Dalton?
Andy Dalton.
Funny thing is, if Dalton was playing, I would pick the Panthers by 4.
Bryce Young played better, and he just made 2 horrific decisions.
Yeah.
And they were both to the same guy. Same
this
guy.
Year, who cares? Lose all your games.
I agree. I'm gonna take. Give me the Panthers. I think they want to win the game. Actually.
Okay.
Panthers beat the Bears. I think a lot of people will be on the Bears in that spot. Give me the Panthers by 3. We have another Frankfurt game. At least it's not one of the better games of the week that early. We have Colts at the Patriots. Versus the Patriots in Germany.
Did the Patriots win this week?
No, they lost by 3 to the Commanders.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the Patriots will win that game by 3. I don't know. I don't know what to think of the Colts. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, I kind of.
They got 2 pick sixes, but I mean, typically they're pretty bad.
Man, tough one there. Give me the Patriots by. The Colts. Yeah, give me the Patriots by field goal. Now the noon games. Texans at the Bengals.
Bengals by 7.
Bengals by 7. Give me Bengals by. They're due to play bad in a game.
That's what I mean. I think they're only going to win by 7.
The line is 7. Give me Bengals by a field goal. Bengals by a field goal. Saints at the Vikings.
I'm going to take Dobbs and the Vikings by a field goal.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say Dobbs and the Vikings by a touchdown only because I watched the Saints and I've watched them every week, but I've not watched them as intently as I did this week because I had a teaser lag on the Saints. I can't believe how bad that defense looked in the first half against a really bad offense for Chicago. Give me the Vikings by a touchdown. Dobbs might be starting in my fantasy lineup this week.
Yeah.
Packers at the Steelers. Packers are 3-5. Steelers somehow 5-3.
Steelers by 7.
Man, I can't believe that they get to play the Packers this week. I'm waiting so much to fade them, but no, I can't do it in this spot. Steelers by 4. Tennessee Titans traveling to Tampa Bay. The Bucs started 3-1. They're now 3-5. They lost 4 straight. Heartbreaker on Sunday.
Man, that's a tough one to call. Give me, man, I'll take the Titans by a field goal.
Levis looked
Dumpster
good,
fire,
man.
Dumpster fire, the Bucs.
I want to root for Baker because he's actually played pretty well this year. Give me the Bucs by. I think people are going to be on Levis. I think the Bucs surprising people and win this one. They should have.
The Bucs have got to be favored in that game.
They're favored by 1.
Okay.
Levis looked pretty good. Give me the Bucs by a field goal. Todd Bowles is horrible. I need to let him go. 49ers at the Jaguars. 49ers favored by 3.
I think the Jaguars.
There's no way, dude.
I think they're going to somehow beat them
There's
by
no
3.
way.
Give me the Jags by 3.
I'm taking San Francisco by 14. I think the Jags are frauds, and I think there's no way off of a bye, Kyle Shanahan, and they're going to be playing the Jaguars.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah,
they're
I
both.
get it.
Did the Jags play last week?
I just think the 49ers are good, too. No, the Jags are coming off a bye.
So both
too.
teams are off buys.
Yeah.
Give me Shanahan over Peterson off a bye any day.
Yeah, I mean.
But yeah, man, I just don't see it. I think there's no way they're losing 4 in a row.
I know. I didn't think they were going to lose 2 in a row.
I didn't think they were going to lose 2 or 3 in a row. But yeah, give me the 49ers by 10.
Okay.
Browns at the Ravens.
Browns at the Ravens. The Browns won the first matchup. Yeah, they did. No. Ravens won the first.
The Ravens
matchup.
did because Deshaun didn't play.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns by a field goal.
Man, I was going to take the Browns too. Yeah, give me the Browns by. I'll do the same thing. Browns by a field goal. Falcons at the Cardinals.
Oh God, Falcons by 3. Just because the Cardinals are so bad, but the Falcons suck.
You said Falcons by a field goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Clayton Tune's pretty bad. Give me the Falcons. God, that line is 2. Falcons by a touchdown. Lions at the Chargers.
Lions by 3. Everybody's winning by a field goal this week.
Lions by 7. You know what? The Chargers have been playing a little bit better. I'm going to change my pick. Justin Herbert wins the game on the final drive by a field goal. Chargers by a field goal.
Okay.
Giants at the Cowboys. That's a get-right game.
Cowboys they've been winning games by crazy amounts. Cowboys by 21.
I was going to say by 17. Cowboys by 17 for me. Commanders at the Seahawks. Seahawks came back down to earth this week.
I still think they're going to end up winning the game. Commanders usually find a way to lose. I'll
They
take
usually
the Seahawks by 3.
They flip-flop too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big win for the Commanders. I needed them to lose that for my under ticket.
Got it.
Give me the Seahawks by a touchdown. Man, Geno Smith looked bad last week. Jets at the Raiders. Raiders get their first win under new coach.
Raiders are going to beat them. Raiders by 7.
Jets are going to win tonight, even though the Chargers will win next week. Jets are going to win tonight, and they're going to beat the Raiders on the road.
2 wins in a row.
2 wins in a row, which would make it, I believe, 3 or it might be 4 wins in a row for the Jets. I think the Jets are going to the playoffs. Give me the Jets by a touchdown. The Raiders, when you fire a coach, you get up for a game, and then you come back down to earth the next game. Broncos, that was the Sunday night game. Broncos at the Bills on Monday Night Football.
Bills by 7.
This is going to be the end of the Sean McDermott era, because after this, there's going to be alarm bells. They're not going to fire him, but there's going to be alarm bells going off because the Broncos are going to walk in to Orchard Park, New York, to Highmark Stadium, and they're going to take down the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to do it behind Russell Wilson, who is back, baby. My boy is back.
There's a
0%
chance of that happening after the Bills come off the loss.
They're definitely going to lose. Give me the Broncos, and they win it outright. Go ahead and take them on the money line if you want to make yourself a little bit of extra money. Please like and subscribe to all our content.
Don't do that.
Please follow us. Follow us on all social media at SlobPod. That's at SLOB Pod, P-O-D. And then follow me on TikTok at Dylan Leak. And on Twitter, if you want to follow some fun rants on Saturday and Sundays where I lose my mind and posting
You'd
funny
probably
videos.
do good on TikTok. Just
I started posting. I don't know.
Frank the
I gotta
Tank
show
Mate
you.
has got millions of going nuts on there.
I gotta show you. I did it, and I got like 5,000 views on my Texas Longhorns one.
There you go.
But hopefully you guys have a great week and enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to all of our stuff, and have a great one.